Hi, my name is Dina Cohen, and I am a couples counselor, and I want to help you recognize some common personality differences in couples and how that may affect their relationship. We'll be using I'll try to explain the Myers Briggs briefly, and hopefully it will help you whether it's your own relationship that is having some difficulties, or if you're a coach trying to help other people. These are like the easiest fixes on basic Shalom bias problems. Okay, so we are talking about the Myers-Briggs. So the first difference that people fight about would be the extrovert versus introvert difference. So the way that shows up in my office would be, I don't know, he can say, "Oh, she talks so much, she's always talking," or or maybe the complaint will be, she's so quiet and she never shares, and I have to peel information out of her. So the extrovert or the E gets his or her energy from the outer world or people. And the introvert, I, gets his or her energy from their inner world and reflection. So, the extrovert wants to process plans and ideas out loud. The introvert will likely not understand or appreciate that. They won't understand why every idea needs to be spoken about. And they'll also get their energy from different places. So, for example, if I'm an introvert, I would need some downtime by myself, maybe reading or thinking, and that will give me the energy. Whereas the extrovert will love to go out with friends. Um, so some people think that the introvert is socially awkward. Not No way like that. The intro This is not what we're speaking about. Like I'm not socially awkward, but when I go out and extrovert, I get exhausted or depleted. That means I'm an introvert, right? Okay, the next difference that couples have or people have are sensing versus intuitive. So the sensing type, or the S, sees what's there and practical, and the intuitive type sees what could be done beyond the obvious. So the S will notice the details and uses things for what they are. Like they'll go into the dollar store and they'll just practically see everything that, what's their list? What do I need? Whereas the N will be focusing on like ideas. What can I do with that? Some difficulties a relationship between an S and N, sorry, an S and N could have would be, the S could think that the intuitive is not being practical. It's like, could we just talk about, what we need to do right now? Like instead of, thinking about ideas about what could be done. Okay. Thinking versus feeling. So the T, or the thinking type, is, head first, logic, fairness, honesty, where the F type, it's heart first, harmony, empathy, relationship. So the T focuses on saying the honest truth, the cold, hard truth. And the F will focus on, how will my words affect the people around me? So the example I like using is like the woman says to the guy, say, does this dress make me look fat? And he says, yeah, you should change. And that would be his response, would be a T response, where the F would be like, you look amazing, or would be like more careful with how that would come across. So there's a lot of hard feelings between the T and the F. The T also might complain, to the F, why don't you just tell me the truth? Why are you like, just, always worrying about how I'm feeling? If I ask you if this suit looks good on me, then just tell me the truth, right? Judging versus perceiving. So the J, like structure, plans, closure, and timeliness, where the perceivings are the P's are flexible and spontaneous and open-ended. So J's like to make decisions quickly. Sometimes they don't, me as a J, I don't even care if the decision is right. I just want to get it off the table. Where the P is always like trying to leave their options open. So the J is rushing to get, to check things off of like I don't, that's done. I don't have to think about it anymore. And, that decision is made. Whereas the P will like to keep their options open as best. So this is, the arguing or the fighting here would be also about timeliness. The J is generally on time, where the P is like running maybe just a few minutes late, but the J could get offended and think, hey, if you cared about me, you would work on, on being on time. But the J needs to understand that's the P's personality, and the P may think that the J is not flexible. Like, the P may come in and say, hey, I just got tickets to go to like Cancun, go pack your bag. We need to leave now. And would probably be upset if the J was like, what? I don't have anything planned. I didn't know. Like, so understanding these differences is very helpful in creating a happy marriage.